Hey, it's Dot, and today I am making a rich and creamy cauliflower mash in my low-carb kitchen. All right, you want to make sure you have a good sharp knife. You never want a dull knife because that's how kitchen accidents happen. So that's a little safety tip from Dot. But I have my cauliflower here. I have my little pail here to put in any trash that I'm not using. And I'm going to be using a colander, which is what I'm going to put my cauliflower pieces in to wash. So all I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to go ahead and start by cutting off that stem. Just get rid of that. And I like to, you don't have to do it this way. I just like to start peeling all of the leafy greens off that hold it. I just start peeling those off. And then what I'm going to do, once I do that, I'm going to actually just go ahead and cut it in half. And then I'm going to start just ripping out the stem, essentially. So what I'm going to do now is just pulling it off in pieces. And then I'm just going to start ripping it apart. What I'm going to end up having is about 1-inch size pieces. This one's a little bit crumbly. So that's something about that size. That's pretty good. I'm going to be steaming the cauliflower, so you want to make sure it's just the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the cauliflower, get it washed, and then we'll go ahead and start cooking it. All right, I'm getting ready. I've already washed my cauliflower and I've cut them up into nice sized pieces. I'm going to go ahead. I've already got some water in here. I have the heat on. I'm going to go ahead and add my steamer basket. And all I'm going to do is steam it. I prefer steaming my cauliflower, and actually all of my vegetables, to boiling them, because when you boil them, you leach out all the nutrients. It goes all into the water. You don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just start adding my cauliflower here. It's going to be pretty tight, but that's okay. But again, I'm going to steam it, and within 7-10 minutes, it'll be soft enough for me to go ahead and use. All right, my cauliflower is cooking, but I'm going ahead and putting aside the egg yolks and making sure I separate them from the whites. Here's the trick I actually saw this through a YouTube video, and it consistently works for me. So let's go ahead and give it a shot with this last egg. I crack the egg over a bowl. What I'm going to use is basically my hand to catch the egg. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm just going to let my fingertips let the yolk run through, and I'm going to do it this way too. But the idea is you strain it with your hands. There we go. And there, and then I just go ahead and put it in there. Voila. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes, so I'm going to check. And you want your fork to pretty much easily pierce the cauliflower, which it's doing. So I'm going to go ahead and get it off heat, and I can actually even sample a piece. Okay, it's soft enough. I'm turning it off. And then I'm just going to take this. I'm going to get my other oven mitt. Have to be safe, sorry about the close-up of my head. But I'm going to go ahead and use my colander, and I'm going to be dumping out all the excess water. You really want to get as much excess water out of your cauliflower as possible. There's a lot of water in cauliflower. And I'm going to actually go on over to my workstation, and you'll see how I get the rest of the water out of the cauliflower. All right, what I do is I use paper towels because there's a lot of the water in the cauliflower, I should say. Got a few that fell off, but that's okay. Now I'm just going to do is I'm going to press it. You want to be careful because obviously it's hot, it's steaming, and you're just pressing, you're wringing out the excess water. As you can see, this is getting all wet. I'm going to move that a little bit so I can get to the ones on the bottom. See, it's pretty hot still, which is good. You want it to be hot. So now what I'm going to do is put it into my food processor. That's a lot easier said than done, but I'm going to try to do it this way. It can go in there. So you definitely want to have quite a few of these. You can see how wet it is. That's how much water came out of the cauliflower. I'm going to get my gloves out of the way. I'm going to take that, spread it around a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead, get my food presser locked. It's already plugged in, and I'm just going to go ahead and start pulsing it. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm chopping it up right now, and let me scoop down the sides a little bit. I'm going to puree it essentially, and while I'm going to have it in the on position, I just want it to pulse it a little bit to break it apart. What I'm going to do now, get my butter and my eggs ready. I'm going to turn it on. Let it go to puree. It's a little bit louder. I'm going to go ahead and add the eggs, the egg yolks, and I'm going to start feeding the butter in there. Again, you want to do all this while it's hot. You can see it's definitely pureeing, which is what you want. You're whipping it. Let me turn it off real quick. Ooh, see, look how smooth it is. What the eggs do, it makes it really rich and creamy, which is a wonderful thing. Now, technically speaking, you do not have to bake this. And yes, I did put raw eggs in here. However, the cauliflower is hot enough that actually it's cooking the eggs, but it's not overcooking them. That's the other thing, because if you overcook the eggs, it's not a good thing. It doesn't taste great. I'm gonna go ahead, get my salt, pepper ready. I'm just gonna add in a couple of pinches there, and I'm gonna add in my salt, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend that in as well. So this is ready to go into a serving dish, but actually, I'm gonna use it to put on top of a recipe. All right, so now I've got my dish here, my cottage pie. I'm gonna go ahead and add my cauliflower mash now. So all I'm gonna do is just pour it in, and you just want an even distribution throughout the dish. And you're also gonna smooth it as you go, because this is your topping. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spread so it covers the entire top. So it is all done. It is all set. It looks and tastes delicious. Now, again, I did put 2 egg yolks in it. They're raw. It should be cooked based on the heat of the cauliflower, but if you prefer, you can certainly put it in the oven at about 350, no longer than just really 5 to 10 minutes, because you don't want to overcook the eggs if you're worried about that. So if you like the video, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.